Steve Davis Show is proudly presented by Dave and Buster's.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Dan Schron, Executive Director of AYBL Basketball. And Dan, thanks for coming on.
Well, Steve, thanks for having me again.
Well, you know, this time of year we meet and go over it, and it's registration time. It's I know it's the middle of football, but guess what? High school football's halfway over. Yaffle football's halfway over, and it's basketball time already.
It seems like it. It seems like you just ended and you started all over again. Registration started August the 1st. Our early registration period ended on September the 14th. So we are now in our late registration period, which is September 15th through September 30th for those that want to get in. And historically, Steve, we have quite a few folks that wait till the last minute to register. So we're hoping to get those folks in early. You know, we're emailing our listserv and getting the information out. But there's a lot going on, and in this day and age where sports is almost year-round for a lot of the clubs and the different leagues, we have our challenges.
Price of admission, or price per player?
Price per player is $199. It went up $10 a player this year to accommodate for the increase in cost. It's not proportional. I mean, we've had some feedback, actually some blowback too, from folks saying, well, you know, your price is going up, everything's getting more expensive. And I understand that. We as a league understand that. But at the end of the day, when you calculate the cost per game, we're still one of the cheapest pay-to-play leagues in the metro area.
And what do you get with that? Help me out on. I should know this by heart, but I don't. So,
right. Well, what you get is you get the registration, and then the registration fee covers your uniform, the gym costs, the official costs, the insurance cost. We have cost for gym monitors and supplies for each of the facilities we use. The other cost associated with that is the end of the year tournament, the postseason tournament, the awards that we give, and the quick scores, the online scheduling software that we use. So there are a whole lot of costs associated with it, but we're a nonprofit, and contrary to popular belief, we're not out here to make money. We're out here to provide the service and try to keep it to where it's affordable, but at the same time, it covers our cost.
How many games per season?
You'll get 14 games in the regular season plus a single elimination postseason tournament. One of the things we're toying with this year, because of a lot of requests from coaches, is maybe going to adding another 2 or 4 games to the season. And one of the reasons that I'm contemplating doing that is because overall, in many sports in the metro area, numbers are down for a number of reasons. I think we might be talking about some of them later. But one of the things we're looking at is that we've gone out and within our budget, we've allocated certain gym use. So I'm not going to waste that gym use. So if it turns out that indeed our numbers are down, which I don't think they will be, but if they are considerably, then I'll give something back to our players in the form of additional games.
Right, and help me do the math. If you divide $200 by 14 games, that's still pretty? It works out to be like maybe $15 a game.
Well, more like 13, counting the postseason tournament games and some of the other things that we do. One of the things that we looked at,
which is very reasonable if you really break. I mean, when you look at,
but it's the county, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but the county, I think, charges when it comes out to their games per cost, it's like $12 or 12 something. We're at $13 roughly. So if you do the math and you break it down that way, the cost benefit analysis shows that you're getting just as much bang or more bang for the buck as you did previously. So I like where we're at with everything, and we're going to continue to strive to give the players and the coaches and the fan base more opportunities to play, because that's what we're hearing from folks. We want to play more games, and that's why you're seeing more and more tournaments, more and more folks looking to create mini leagues. I'm calling them mini leagues, where folks can go play. And you talk to some of these coaches, and their teams are playing 50, 60, 90, 100 games a year, and they're wanting to play year round.
Well, that's something that is hard to do, and I see it early in AYBL when there's YAFL and there's other things. It's hard for players to make a decision where they're going to be to be able to compete, and the numbers are not there for that many games for a year round.
Well, they're not.
And economics.
In the economics. And you understand, I mean, you know, I serve as the district AU basketball director for New Mexico and El Paso and the surrounding counties. And what we're seeing as I go to meetings, national meetings, and we have discussions about youth sports, we're seeing a huge decline in numbers in each of the sports. And a lot of that's due to what you said, the economics of it, especially when families have more than one child participating in youth sports. The other is the move towards specialty. In other words, coaches and programs are asking kids at an early age to pick a sport and stay with it for the rest of your life, and that's hurting other sports, because when we were growing up, we participated in multiple sports because they were broken into multiple seasons.
That's funny when you say. I just remember it was like, and I just go back to Clovis and my days. It was 3 seasons, man, and it was like basketball season was you checked in your basketball stuff in, and football, and the next day you were in the basketball gym, but there was no basketball played during football, and there was no football being played. I mean, no gym time, nobody training for football at the time, you know, during the season, while basketball and track and then also baseball were going on.
And you raise a good point, Steve. So what we're seeing now is going back to what I was saying, is we're seeing folks wanting to just target year-round participation in that particular sport. Football, for example, YAFL has gone from just a fall league to now a fall and a spring league. Basketball, we're seeing more and more tournaments, more and more regional stuff. I mean, different leagues and facilities that are growing. Locally, we're seeing folks that are going out and wanting to get gym space or a building and put a court in there, and they're wanting to target their own leagues. And in essence, what happens is we're diluting the small base of participation that we have, and we may end up in a situation where 2 things happen. One is, by diluting our base, we are now having teams play each other multiple times instead of maybe twice, which has been the norm. And then the other side of the coin is we're putting so much pressure on families, the kids and the parents, to participate that they just throw the towel in and they go to something else. They don't participate. And you couple that with some of what I call it craziness. I mean, we have, in this day and age with technology and the internet and all the social media, we have folks that go out there and they're ranking second grade players as the top 100 in the nation or the top 50 in the state, and that's just ludicrous. Well,
I have great feedback from that, just from one, playing basketball in my life, and then also coaching in high school, is that I know the people and parents and things think that their kids are going to get that basically they think they're going to play in the professional league at a young age or get that scholarship. And when you really look at it, the numbers for the amount of scholarships that are given out it's better to stay in school and get your education and try to get a it's easier to go to school and get education to get a scholarship than it is to try to get an athletic scholarship with the demand of how many people that want to play.
Well, and you and I both know that.
Or, and hear me out, and the kids are so and I'm not saying this is good or bad, because you want kids to dream big, is that they're not probably going to play Division I, okay? And there's a lot of Division II, and there's Division III, and there's private school, private colleges, and that they can go play at. But in their mind, it's not to the expectations of what their parents thought it would be, and the expectations that they put on themselves.
Well, and those expectations.
Plus, at work, as you're finding out, it takes work to go. If you're going to go play on the college level, it's a full-time job besides trying to be a student.
Exactly, and you still need to make your grades. I mean, you're a student athlete and you're not an athlete student. So what we're seeing is going back to the early levels, is you're absolutely right. Parents are looking down the road, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
No, my whole point is it's all good because the kids are being positive and they're trying,
right,
as long as they're getting their education and moving up at the same time.
But a sidebar to that is parents in their zealousness to get to that point are now taking out mortgages and foregoing certain things to make sure they give their kids everything they possibly can to get there. So what they're doing, and there's folks that feed off of that and feed it, and that is specialty training. So I'll give you an example. I had a mother last year that came to me, and she was frustrated because her kid's not getting enough points per game. And I was flabbergasted that we were even having that discussion. But as I continued to
they were already just charting
they're charting. They're looking at they're as a high school coach, I'm looking at other things besides points. The intangibles. Are you a good coachable player? Can you play defense? Do you get rebounds? Do you hustle? Can you make assists? Can you read the court? But in her mind, she said, I'm spending $900 a month that I can't afford to send my child to specialty training, and it's just not working out. And part of it, I use the analogy of you can't go to Home Depot and think you're a contractor because you walk in the door. There's a lot of other things that play into it, and maybe instead of spending $900 a month, and I know some of those folks that are trainers are going to get upset with this comment, a $20 basketball and a map to all the playgrounds in the city, which is the way it used to be, is probably what you need to do. Just go play, go find games.
That's a great point. When we've had this discussion. When I first moved to Albuquerque, and this is a few years back, in the 70s. Okay, let's go back, and I won't date myself, but you went to a playground, and you had to wait 10, 15 minutes before. You better be good, or you weren't going to get into that game. And it was just it was amazing. It was like every afternoon, every all across Wells Park was most notable, but in the Northeast Heights, all the places where you could play basketball, it was like, and nobody knew me. I just would just go get in games and just go up and down and play. And we'd start at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was no lights. And of course, in the summertime, about 9 o'clock, we're still playing for that, to see who would win that last, would have the court for the next night.
And that's what's lacking in this day and age, because I did the same thing. I mean, we went out there, you had to be tough. You had to compete, you had to give your all, and you fought to stay on the court, because if you lost, you might have to wait 30, 40 minutes to get back on the court with the number of teams waiting. Kids aren't experiencing that. You go by playgrounds now, they're not being utilized. Of course, Carlisle Gym, I don't know if it's around anymore, Johnson Gym, the old boys club, the old Y at the old Albuquerque. We're not getting those type of games. Wells Park, and you know this, Steve, used to be one of the top 10 outdoor basketball courts in the country to play.
I played it.
There were good games.
Well, Dan, we're going to go to Dream Style Remodeling Top 10 Plays of the Week and come back and talk more about AYBL and the future of it.
And he's going for the touchdown. Nice. keeps on going. And at the end of the end zone, it looks like he has touchdown.
Oh, forget it. We're playing football. Here's the snap. Under pressure. Well, that was Queen to David Bowie. That's about as good as it gets.
Lynch on the free kick toward the box. And a goal!
Cleveland 14, Centennial nothing. Pitch out to Acosta was never looking for that. Picked up and going for the end zone.
Oh my God.
That's going to be a touchdown. Oh my goodness.
Looks like two guys are running.
86-yard touchdown recovery.
And a toss down the middle and a one-handed grab. It's complete and it's a first down. And
A barrier here that we have to look around, but we're nice and low. That's the good news. Fun place, and there's a shot from the outside.
Texans game's over. They're going to Bolden in the end zone. Touchdown, Bolden! Jump on, he won it! Turnbull, pressure, good looking pass, and that is going to be a catch, and that's going to go for 6. Deshaun Sanchez will get his second touchdown of the
Duke City Sports Bar. Proud supporter of Proview Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. Catch all the sports action from high school, college, pros, and MMA on one of our 35 HD TVs. Start your night off right with any selection from our delicious menu prepared with fresh, never frozen ingredients. Duke City Sports Bar, Albuquerque's newest sports bar. Located on Eubank and Montgomery, dial 505-433-4020.
Carmody Medical provides solutions for your everyday needs. Hot and cold compression wraps provide therapeutic compression for the shoulder, hip, and knee. The therapy wraps are constructed of an insulated outer fabric and a ventilated cotton pocket to protect the body. Elastic belts allow mobility and deliver a gentle, adjustable compression. The reusable therapy packs can be removed from the pouch and placed into the freezer. Contact Jim for more information.
Dave & Buster's is your destination for fun. Eat delicious chef-crafted food. Try sizzling favorites and new creations from our talented chefs. Drink the coolest cocktail creations. Play the hottest new games to win awesome prizes. And watch all the games in the best sports bar ever. Only at Dave & Buster's.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Dan Serrano, Executive Director of AYBL Basketball, and Dan, you bring so many topics that bring up old days with me about the old just get out and go play and learn to get beat up and then come back the next day but I going back to that, it just brought memories to me when I came to Albuquerque and that was before. And I'll be honest too, I've been spoiled over after I came here in gyms. I want to go play in a gym. Okay, I'm just the old to go outside and play. One is the court and injuries and things like that. I want to be inside a nice facility but so things have changed, and even with my own deal, you probably wouldn't see me go out and play up and down on a court, and you don't see it anymore. And I see a lot of, that's why we have the organizations that we do to keep it up. But the problem with that is that there's no gyms.
Well, and that's a good point. Every year I hate to use the word struggle, but that's what it is. It's a struggle and a fight to go and secure gyms. And a lot of that effort put forth to get gyms is a two-part process. One is we have to go back and explain away some of the craziness that may have occurred in certain gyms, because we're experiencing that. It's been put out in the media where fans are unruly or coaches get out of control, and I've never had problems with the kids, but between the adults, there's a lot of problems. And then what it does is it creates an environment where those entities that allow us use of their facilities want to back away from it because they're concerned about the issues. They're concerned about liability, which is a big thing. And then we get past that, and then we start moving forward on use of gyms and then what it's going to take for us to use them.
Well, let me touch on one side that really, in all facts of all gyms, all facilities, it takes one incident to punish everybody.
Exactly.
Okay, could be one. You could be doing how many games? There's over 1,000 games that AYBL does over a season. Is that
we do almost 1,400 games.
That's what I was going to say. Over 1,400 games, and there might be over that time, since you've been president and executive director, is that it just seems like, and I hear a little bit about it. Is there's maybe one incident or two incidents because there's a rivalry game or rivalry thing in between some coaches competing and parents competing and deal. But you really think of it, this one incident over all those games is pretty minimal.
Right. And there's a few of those incidents.
But what I'm saying, it changes when those do come out. It changes the whole dynamics of what's going on in every league. It's also YAFL.
Right.
I mean, there's some parents that have been banned. I mean, it doesn't just AYBL. It's every sports thing that's done. There's always some incident that affects the whole.
And you're right. And so what we end up experiencing, and I'll speak to youth basketball, is when there's an incident, especially a severe incident, where fans come out of the stands and hit an official or hit a coach, or we had one this year where a fan came out of the stands to confront, almost attack a young player, and it's just crazy. But what we're seeing is we're invoking zero tolerance policies, and we have rules and procedures that everyone has to follow. We vet our coaches. They have to pass a background check. We also vet them in respect to making sure they understand how to run practices and deal with injuries, especially concussion with state law. But what we're running into is a mentality or a mindset that the rules apply to everybody but me. So when we invoked the zero tolerance policy several years ago, a lot of folks
they fought, yeah.
Well, they stood up for it, but we have those that fight it because even though in their right mind they know it's the right thing, when they get out of balance, out of whack at a game because they're focused only on their child, and maybe they think their kid's getting fouled or didn't get the call, or it's not a good day, or going back to the case that I mentioned earlier where the pressure is mounting because they've spent so much money on outside training and the kid's not performing the way they want. Sometimes they're looking at their kid playing vicariously through them. A whole lot of different factors. They blow up, they lose it, and they think there's an entitlement for them to get certain things or for them to act a certain way. And then when we ban them or we enforce some sort of sanctions, they get so upset that now the league is bad, and they badmouth the league, they badmouth us for giving them a safe environment, and that goes, and they use social media to go out there and basically badmouth what we're doing, when in all essence, if they were to stop and think that we're doing the right thing and we're protecting the integrity of the league and their kids, they wouldn't be doing that.
But the word emotion, everybody gets emotion. You have your, big games and things like that. And like, I get it, I understand it. I just, something we haven't really touched on is the need for officials.
Right.
And I think that's probably one of the, it's just not only in AYBL, it's across the whole state. And is there new regulations or new things for officials that can come and work for AYBL, or is it they have to be officiated through the MMA, or what's the
a combination?
criteria?
It's a combination of things. We use ABOA, Albuquerque Basketball Official Association members, which are NMA officials that officiate high school games. And if you go to an AYBL game, you'll notice that our officials are professional. I mean, you may not agree with their calls, so that does because you don't agree with them.
They're only right 50% of the time.
Well, but that doesn't lessen their professionalism.
Well.
So they dress slacks. They look like an official at a high school game or a college game. We don't have them or allow them to wear shorts. So and we're working officials, but the pool of officials is considerably diminished over the past couple of years. So what we're doing now is we're trying to bring young folks into the officiating game. And a lot of folks are not wanting to do it because they don't want to put up with the abuse. They don't want, we've been to games where people get crazy and they're saying things that they probably wouldn't otherwise say. I sometimes wonder if they bring up what they say at games at confession, but that's another story. But nonetheless, folks don't want to do this. And if they are doing it, they want more money, which raises the cost. So what we've started doing this year is we've reached out to folks at the University of New Mexico to see if we can't maybe create a program that will train officials. We need more training. And we're re-looking at how we're going to handle our own officials this year for the upcoming season.
Well, I tell you, that's if you have good officials, that minimizes a lot of the things the issues that we talk about, the emotion of the parents and the kids and the coaches. If you can minimize those, if you have good referees that know the game and understand that are understand also the value of that game, the stake of that game to everybody in the stands, and then and we're all human. And we all make mistakes, but again, back to the the earlier statement I said, 1,400 games a deal. The officiating is pretty good on most of those games.
No, I think the officials do a tremendous job. They're not perfect, just like the coaches aren't perfect, just like the players aren't perfect, and just like the fan base isn't perfect. But we need to sometimes set aside. The emotions are good for the game. I mean, I think, as a coach, as a player, we've always wanted to be emotional and get emotions out to get folks to give all they have. But there's good emotions and there's bad emotions. And the bad emotions need to be checked in at the door. Come out, support your players, support your team, support your coach. We've always emphasized, that the coaches coach, that the players play, and then just you cheer, the fan base cheers. But we're going to continue to work on improving our officials in the officiating base, improving the league, and making it a safe environment in the stands for the fans. And if that means that we invoke zero tolerance policy more often than we've been doing so, and the sanctions are a little more severe, so be it. And I've taken the position, I think folks on the board of AYBL have taken the position that if you can't follow the rules and you can't understand that success is measured in more things on the scoreboard, then maybe we're not the league for you. Because we are a competitive league. We do want that competition, but we want it to be with good sportsmanship, with honor and integrity.
One thing I've watched over the last 5 or 6 years is, yes, it's competitive, but it's a fun competitive. I mean, it's we do the AYBL championship games on that Sunday or Saturday and Sunday now. That during the month, and right before March, before the big tournament in New Mexico high school tournament. But I've gotten to talk to the coaches, and they know the teams, and they know what they got to do, and to me that's pretty. The kids take it serious, and they come in and they're focused, and to me it's just really exciting to be a part of.
And Steve, we appreciate Proview coming in and doing these games. The fan base loves it. I continue to get emails or calls from fan base, family, or what have you, from out of state. They has an opportunity to go online and watch the games. The kids year round work hard to get to that championship game so they can get on Proview, and we give them a great environment, great facility, great setup. But the other, going to something you just said, what we're seeing more and more of it are feeder programs. And what I mean by that is there are certain programs, high school programs that are out there, and they're running, junior Hawks, junior Bears, junior Dogs, junior Storm, junior Rams, and they're getting their kids in their program, and they're grooming them, and they're bringing them up, and the kids are running, these offenses and defenses, and the fan base is great. And quite frankly, a lot of them are siblings of guys and girls that are playing at the high school level now that have come up through the ranks of AYBL. But what's interesting is AYBL was structured 37 years ago to be a competitive league that will prepare the younger players to play at the mid-school level and play at the high school level. And that's what we're about. We're preparing you for the next level. And for some folks, this isn't for them. And I've had discussions with folks. They think, this is too competitive. My kid doesn't want to do that. And there are other programs for that. But we're not going to make any bones about the fact that we are competitive, and competitive can be good.
Well, I tell you, if you watch, some of the players, always, because usually I get the championship games or the semifinals before the championship games and watch them, and then you watch those people that are playing in that finals, and then it's almost pretty much, not in most cases, but sometimes the next year they're starting for a program out in the metro area or in Rio Rancho, or in 2 years they're starting, and the next thing you know, you're reading about them, playing in the state championship. But it's amazing how it starts at AYBL and just builds over their 5 or 6 years.
And that's a good point. I think I mentioned to you during the state tournament this last year that my AYBL team, my youth team, I'm watching them in high school now, and 10 out of 11 that were with me as sophomores this last year were all in the state tournament, which was great. It made me proud as a coach that the kids stuck with it and got there. But it's not just me. There's a lot of effort with other coaches they're with, their parents, and most importantly, they have that strong desire and work ethic to want to excel. And I hope that we don't see a drop off in participation at the high school level. I know we're starting to see drop off in participation at the girls level. We struggle in trying to get enough girls to participate in the youth girls league. And there's a number of reasons for that. Well,
Dan, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some things that we're doing to raise money to keep this league afloat and make it as good as it's been for the last 37 years.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog! Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff. One scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough. Back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog! Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
When I train for American Ninja Warrior, I schedule regular workouts to stay in shape. To keep my car in Ninja Tough shape, I head to a Napa Auto Care Center for regular maintenance and genuine Napa Auto parts. Like brakes and batteries. I trust my Napa Auto Care Center for quality parts and quality service. And with the 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, I drive away with peace of mind every time. Visit AutoCareNM.com to find a location near you.
VR Junkies is a virtual reality arcade. We specialize in all things VR, from the simple phone-based headsets to cutting-edge full-body motion systems. Check us out at the Coronado Mall. VR Junkies.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the Frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We have Dan Serrano, Executive Director of AYBL Basketball, and well, we got, with all these costs of increasing things, we've got something coming up this Sunday that we need players. We need golf players.
Exactly. Through your efforts and the good folks over at the Body Room.
Scott Bollinger and his wife, and they've got a little, we'll go in detail with it. We got a little, I'll let you speak.
Well, through your efforts again and to the good folks at the Body Room, we've resurrected the annual AYBL golf tournament that they used to do years ago. And we're doing that to try to raise some monies to offset some of the costs so that we could keep the registration fees as low as we did. I mean, not raise them as high as probably we needed to. And at the same time, be able to assist some of those disadvantaged players or families that are wanting to get their kids into the program, because we've always maintained a philosophy that we don't want to turn anybody away.
Well, it's this Sunday, and you know what's pretty neat. We got a hole-in-one that I do believe is, how much is that?
$10,000 hole-in-one. An opportunity, lucky golfer.
You only get one shot though. There's no mulligans on the hole-in-one. Right?
I don't think so. You know, the unfortunate thing is I'm not a golfer, but I'm learning a lot of the lingo and how these things are done, and I've, of course, deferred a lot to you and others I know that golf. But it seems like there's a lot of excitement over an opportunity to win $10,000 on a hole-in-one. We have a lot of other prizes. The Barty Room is going to be hosting a post-tournament buffet at their location. So I think it's going to be a great day. It's Sunday the 24th. We start at 9 a.m. It's $125 a player, $500 a team. If anyone's interested, they can contact you or they can contact me at 249-7994, or you can register online by going to quickscores.com/hoopsnm, and there is a registration link for the golf tournament.
And it's at Arroyo del Oso, and it's I tell you, if you haven't played there, it's looking pretty. I haven't played there in a while, but I just drive by on Academy and I look over there, and it's very enticing because it looks like it's a very immaculate shape.
Well, everyone tells me that's one of the better courses in the region, so I'm looking forward to getting out there on Sunday. Although I'm not going to golf, I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about the game. Some folks tend to think I might take the game.
We're going to actually be working. We got to get registration. We got to get the deal. We got the deal. Got to get raffles up, and it's actually, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Another fun day of golf, and hopefully I get to play a little bit.
Well, they say you're a pretty good player.
Well, rumors are out there that
that you are.
There's rumors out there, but if you play with me, I'm not that good. So. Yeah. But back, that's one of the, and really what that money goes for is and I'd like you to go in more in detail some of the obstacles that you're facing over the next now and the future of AYBL.
Well, that's part of the job. I mean, it's not easy. We have to deal with the challenges that come along with running the league and trying to maintain a cost-effective program. But getting gyms is always the number one challenge. But it's not just gyms for games. We also work with the coaches to ensure that they have an opportunity to get a practice gym once or twice a week. And a lot of folks don't understand that aspect of it, because if we get players and coaches or teams that get in the league and they can't get a place to practice, the frustration level mounts and they tend to not want to participate. Then we're looking at keeping our insurance costs in line by mainly avoiding any potential liability claims, and that goes back to making sure that we run the league where it's safe and it's fun and we're not having any major issues that would lead rise to a claim, because insurance companies look at that. Then we have the cost of using the facilities. Our costs,
which are going up extremely.
Considerably. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that folks don't follow the rules. And I say that very bluntly and directly, and some folks may take offense to it, but it's real simple. If you're not allowed to bring your coffee or your food into the gym, then respect the gym's wishes. If you change a diaper in the stands, throw it away. Don't flush a diaper down the commode in the bathroom and plug it up. Use the trash receptacles to place your trash. Park in areas that you're supposed to park in. All those little things that add up that frustrate each facility and the folks that operate it. And they use those little things to not want to allow the use of the gym down the road. And then we maintain our costs on everything else as best we can. Our uniforms are going up. I have no control over that. The officials, they haven't seen an increase in pay for years, and they're asking for an increase. Gym monitors haven't seen an increase in pay, they're asking for an increase. So as the costs continue to mount, we have to try to keep up to par with those costs and do it in other ways than just raise the registration fee.
Well, I tell you, it's still remarkable for, how many young men we have and women. I don't want to just be boys or girls, I guess you would say, boys and girls that you and the league represent, and all the moving parts that you have to do to keep this league surviving. And I like I said, I appreciate what you do more than what I see some of the emails, some of the things that you deal with. I mean, it's not like this is the only job you have in your life, but it's basically a year-round job, even though it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a seasonal job, but it's a year-round deal just to keep one with all the things that change with APS on the regulation of gyms, the private gyms. That every year it seems like you think you have it all figured out, and then at the last second something comes up that goes, oh no, what am I going to do to make sure that we have enough gyms for these kids to play in?
Well, and you're absolutely right, Steve, and I'm definitely not doing this for the money, I can tell you that. I'm doing it because I love the sport. I love the opportunity to give.
Well, basketball's been good to you.
Basketball has been good to me.
And you're a fan of basketball, and your kids have played basketball. They're still playing basketball, and it's something that's you're very passionate about.
Well, and we've done some good things. We've gone into the community. I think the arrangement with Proview to do the games has been great for the league and the game and the participants. The opportunity to bring a guy like Coach Dick Hunsacker to come do a coaching clinic and a camp for the kids every year has been great. A native New Mexican that's basketball's been good to him, and he's giving back. The opportunity to play a lot of games in a very professional environment, in an environment that sets the stage for you to get to the next level. And we'll continue to keep doing what we're doing. We haven't been around for 37 years because we're not doing things right. But I understand that we're not going to please everybody all the time. And then when we don't please folks, they tend to, and this is an old adage, I don't get my way, I'm going to take my ball and leave the playground.
Well, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about some of the, hopefully a future that's coming up, but also we're going to talk more about the Dick Hunsacker, the clinic that's coming up, and also what happens in that clinic.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Dave & Buster's is your destination for fun. Eat delicious chef-crafted food. Try sizzling favorites and new creations from our talented chefs. Drink the coolest cocktail creations. Play the hottest new games to win awesome prizes. And watch all the games in the best sports bar ever. Only at Dave & Buster's.
Looking for some exhilarating fun? It's at All Out Zone. All Out Zone showcases Nerf dart tag games from team elimination battles to human versus zombies, pitting two teams against each other in fun, organized chaos with trained referees, music, and a full arsenal of Nerf blasters. You need team parties, birthday parties. We can customize the party to fit your needs. Visit us at the Coronado Mall. Give us a call, 505-444-6964. All Out Zone.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with Proview Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of Proview Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We have Dan Serrano, Executive Director of AYBL Basketball, and you know, we touched on that last segment just a little bit about you know, Dick Hunsucker, but there's more to him. It's the clinic and the coaches thing that you put together, and it's pretty amazing. The last year we had over, I don't know, I couldn't get 250 coaches. Am I close on that?
You're about right.
And it was neat that they came out and then Dick did a little clinic on anything that the coaches wanted to talk about. But it's just another thing that you've added to give the coaches the skills to get their players better.
Well, the skills and hopefully some confidence, because understand the vast majority of these coaches are parents that are just volunteering to be a part of what their kid is wanting to do, and a lot of them have different levels of understanding and experience with the game. And so we go into a lot of different things, basic fundamental skills to how to run an offense or defensive scheme, to pressing, to breaking the press, to trapping, different components of the game. We don't get into too much detail. I'm sure Coach Hunsacker can give you the whole book on it. He's well versed and experienced.
Do we have those dates? Has that been set yet? Is that
right now? What we're looking at is doing this, doing the coaching clinic, the latter part of October, or the first part of November.
So that's awesome to know that that's going to be coming up, and that's just again gym time and appropriating at the right time. But I know that the people that have been in this camp is something that you and I really is the basketball shirt. It's like that's the biggest thing I saw. The green. The first year it was green, and last year I think it was maroon. And I do a lot of the basketball games. And to this day I see those shirts coming up all everywhere, and that was something that I did with MMA when we did the golf tournament, and still do, is to have a nice shirt that has the sponsors' names on it. But if it's nice, people wear it, and you can't get a return on your investment better than people wearing about the camps you're doing.
Well, the kids love the shirt, and they get the shirt by participating in the camp, and that's the other component of what we do that weekend with Coach Hunsacker, aside from the coaching clinic, is we run a youth camp, a preseason youth camp for those players that whose parents want them to come and get coached by a college coach. And he does a great job. We help him, we assist him. Participations continue to grow over the years, and we're going to get that information out again this year to our team family.
Well, something that you've been working on for multiple years, and I don't even want to go into how many years, but it was a dream of mine, but it's starting to happen in fruition. Josh is going to put this up and kind of talk about something that we alluded to earlier in the program about not having enough gym space, and here's something that you are trying to get accomplished, and let's take a look at it.
Hoops NM Basketball Center is coming soon. 10 full courts broken into 2 wings for ultimate basketball and volleyball play. Locker rooms, a lounge area, a pro shop, and a full snack bar will all be a part of a great experience. Convenient parking and access will make the Hoops NM Basketball Center a premier facility for league play and competitive regional tournaments. With over 9,000 square feet, Hoops NM Basketball Center will take court sports play to another level in our community. Courts are regulation high school size with wood floors and seating for approximately 350 per court. Major sponsors and supporters are being assembled now. If you're interested, contact Dan Serrano at 505-249-7994. Send him an email, hoopsnm@aol.com. That's hoopsnm@aol.com. Hoops NM Basketball Center, a premier sports facility serving our community.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Every time last year we showed a little model, and give me an update of where we're at with this project.
Well, as you can tell from the design and the little video clip that we just saw, we're progressing. We're making great progress. I think we're about 70%, if not more, towards meeting our objective. We've identified a site that we're working on. There's some off-site requirements we need to deal with. from a development perspective. And then it's 10 courts, 10 high school regulation courts broken up into 2 wings of 5 each, which will allow us to do basketball and volleyball or any court sport.
Or wrestling too. Wrestling's big.
Any court sport. I've gone, as I've mentioned before, I've gone around the country looking at different facilities and looking at what works and what doesn't. So we're going to have plenty of parking. Each court's going to average about 315 seats per court. There's a mezzanine on each side so that when we have AU tournaments, the college coaches can be separated from the players and the coaches. There's a snack bar, there's locker rooms, there's a pro shop. It's a great facility. We have a great architect in Steve Hall who's designed this and been working with us over the years. We continue to tweak little things here and there. For example, we decided last week we're going to add some more locker rooms and a bigger facility for the officials that would allow us to maybe pick up some high school games, maybe some state tournament games that would probably afford 4,000 to 5,000 seats.
So you're going to have a center. It's all being open, as you saw, and then you can put bleachers around the center court and multiple courts. I mean, you can actually do it if I'm correct on that, and you can actually play 2 big games at one time.
Exactly, on both sides, and bring some of these games in with portable seating that we've looked at doing. Something we sort of looked at doing with the convention center here in Albuquerque a couple years ago, us and the NMAA. The other interesting thing is during the state tournament, the demand on me from I know a lot of coaches throughout the state that call up and say, I need a place to practice. They have a hard time finding a practice.
I didn't even think about that. I mean, that's especially during that time of the season because of well, there's other things that go on besides basketball at the schools.
Well, you know what's great? Aside from providing a service and opportunity and doing more camps and clinics and league play and not having to struggle with gyms, is for this community, this metro area, we create that sports economic development component that this city is lacking. They're starting to go in that direction with the baseball fields out.
And that Dan Lewis and Ken Sanchez and all them, and I think that they see the value of it. Now I'm proactive on that, so and trust me, I know there's a mayor's race being ran and all that, but I'm just saying, I'm looking at it that's very instrumental to our future. And you and I understand it probably more than anybody, but is why are we sending our athletes out of state when we have the greatest state, if we had the facilities to bring them in, weather-wise, the mountains, the land of enchantment. I don't know that there's a more beautiful state when people come and see it and see the friendliness that we have, and sports does it. And I know I'm 100% biased, and there's people that can fight that all they want, but we don't have enough sports.
Our players, our youth, have to get on a bus, a car, or plane, or train to go and play more competition. But we bring that competition into Albuquerque, and it's working. Facilities like this and youth sports is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry in the United States. But when it comes to the economic struggles that we have in our community right now, we create jobs, we create businesses to feed it. It's just going to be the net economic impact to this community by bringing in these types of facilities and bringing folks to come to Albuquerque and to New Mexico and see the greatness that we have and the beauty that we have is only going to increase our tax coffers. And I'm not saying that's the primary motive to do it, but it's a side benefit to what we're trying to do.
Well, Dan, hey, thanks for coming on, and good luck to another great AYBL basketball season.
Well, thank you for having me, Steve. Always a pleasure.